So it's about time to do episode 4 of Teen Titans. I just read it, and I don't know what the fuck I was thinking when I wrote it. There is absolutely no way anything other than like HBO or Stars would have allowed this on their to appear on their station. I went a little overboard, so much so that I'm actually going to censor this. And when I read it, bear in mind that I have censored it. So it, in its uncensored form, is worse. So, that being said, well, you know what? Not for nothing. Maybe it's not that far out of the realm of possibility, because from what I understand, there was a fair... and I only watched like 4 episodes of Titans before I checked out of it. But from what I understand, there is a fair amount of sexual content on there. But that being said, I think I may have gone a touch too far. But we're going to go ahead and dive into episode 4. And if you have been, on the off chance you've had your kids with you when you were listening to these previously, don't have them there for this one. It's not appropriate for children. It might not be appropriate for some adults, if I'm being honest. So, we're going to get into it right now. Teen Titans, episode 4, Sibling Rivalry. Starfire rushes into the kitchen area running after everyone, saying, "Sister, what brings you here?" Blackfire responds, "I was passing through and thought I'd see how you were adjusting." Slightly annoyed, Starfire says, "I am fine. You did not have to." Blackfire slyly responds, "I know. I wanted to." Robin says, "You guys probably want to catch up." Beast Boy goes, "Let's do dinner." Cyborg says, "Chinese?" Confused, Starfire says, "People?" Blackfire, ignoring Starfire, says, "Love Chinese. Come on, everybody, let's go." Soon, all have left but Star and Raven. Starfire heads for the door and stops. "Raven, are you coming?" "No. I need to get the security system back up so not just anyone can walk in." To Raven, Starfire says, "Of course." And as she leaves, quietly to herself says, "Where was that an hour ago?" Now alone, Raven made her way to her room. Raven begins levitating cross-legged in the middle of her room. She begins chanting in Latin as the camera pans 360 degrees around her as she chants. The camera begins to shake. Raven begins straining as she chants. The camera shakes more violently, soundingly a boom crack. And Raven collapses to the ground. She looks up in surprise and irritation. "Okay, let's try something else." An hour later, Raven stands in the living room, finishing her incantations as the others file in back from dinner, joking and laughing, Starfire and Blackfire noticeably missing. Raven turns her head, listening intently. We hear indistinct voices. Raven made her way to the front door. As she rounds the corner, we hear Starfire say, "Perhaps you cannot enter because you are a snork-fitting skagglebush." "Seriously, Corey, grow up," Blackfire says. "Squish tufakoma." Blackfire says, you kiss your mother with that mouth? Not since you sold me into slavery. I made a deal to save our planet, you brat. Fine, but why do you have to come here and embarrass me? Me? Embarrass you? I nearly vomit just confirming our relation. Starfire begins crying. You are a mean and horrible sister and always have been. I'm not mean, you're just soft. Anger floods through Starfire as her eyes and fists glow green with power. I will show you, soft Commander. Blackfire's eyes and fists glow purple with power. Bring it, piss stain. Excuse me, Raven says. What? They both shout at her. The reason Blackfire cannot enter is because I have repaired the security system. She requires an invitation. Starfire and Blackfire glare at each other. Blackfire turns to Raven. Are you going to invite me in? Raven turns and walks away, saying, you are not my guest. Blackfire turns to Starfire. Corey, come on. Starfire shakes her head, says, come in. Blackfire enters and attempts to hug her sister. Star steps back and says, doesn't mean I like you. Star turns and walks away. Blackfire sighs and heads for the living room. Blackfire enters the living room and sees Beast Boy setting up the couch with pillows and a blanket. Thank you, Beast Boy. You didn't need to do that. This is for me. I figured you'd want a comfy bed. So I'll take the couch and you can sleep in my room. Thanks. Last room on the left. Sleep tight. Blackfire smiles. You too. Blackfire entered Beast Boy's room. She flipped on the lights, and a more disgustingly messy room never existed. Laughing to herself, Blackfire says, oh my god. Blackfire tossed and turned, and finally she gets up and heads for the living room. She stood staring out the giant windows of Titan's tower. Can't sleep, huh? Beast Boy says. Blackfire turned to see Beast Boy sitting on the couch. She smiles. How could you tell? 'Cause in my sleep I smelt angel, so I woke to find you in my mist. Blackfire laughs. Cute. I bet the girls just eat you up. Encouraged, Beast Boy continues. Don't care about girls, but I'll be your main course anytime. You're cute, kid, but you're barely an appetizer. Got my eye on something tastier. How do you know it's tastier? You haven't tried me. Blackfire laughs again. Says, you're cute, kid, but no. Get some sleep. Blackfire leaves the room. Beast Boy, deflated, slumps onto the couch and says, story of my life. The next morning, Cyborg is working on his car. Despite his super strength, he cannot break loose the bolt. Son of a bitch! From behind him, Blackfire's voice comes. Need a hand? Cyborg, he turns and he laughs. He says, no offense, pretty thing, but if I can't bust it, it can't be busted. Blackfire laughs, extending her hand. Want to bet? Shaking her hand, Cyborg says, go for it, Swivel Hips. Blackfire uses her eye blast to heat the bolt to cherry red. She bent over and blew on it, and the bolt spun right off. She grins back at Cyborg and says, how's that, Tin Man? Damn, girl. Blackfire walks out, and she makes her way to the roof, where Raven hovers cross-legged. Hey, Raven. Raven ignores her. Meditation, huh? You know, I know this great technique. Raven turns abruptly and locks eyes with Blackfire nose to nose and says, "Stop embarrassing yourself." "What?" "Your sister is annoying, but she is the most kind-hearted and accepting soul I have ever encountered. If you struck out with her, you don't have a prayer with me." I just thought, I doubt that. An hour later, the Titans are brought together outside the dining hall by a wonderful smell. As they enter the hall, Blackfire greets them. "I am glad you're here. I know things have been touch and go so I have prepared you a feast. Dig in." As the Titans sat eating, Starfire's blood began to boil as compliments were showered upon her sister. But finally, the line was crossed. "This is great," Robin said. "You're amazing in the kitchen." Blackfire smiles. "Oh, sweetheart, I'm okay in the kitchen. If you want to see me be amazing, I could swing by your room later." Taken aback for a moment, Robin smiles. He says, "You know where it is. Make sure you clear your calendar. You'll be there a while." Seductively, Blackfire says, "Baby, I got all the time in the world." Starfire shouts, "Enough!" Everyone jumps. BB and Cyborg are like, Starfire yelling says, "No! I have had enough, sister. You are no longer welcome here. I wish for you to leave." Robin tries to interject. "Star, we can't just throw her out." "No, Robin, this is wrong. I will not let her come here and destroy my friendships with her sultry eyes and lack of clothing. Don't you see she is a snorfag?" Beast Boy leans over to Cyborg and quietly says, "What's a snorfag?" Cyborg quietly responds, "I don't know. Boring Liberace? Maybe? I don't know." Robin says, "Star." Blackfire says, "No, Robin. Corey Mander, may I speak with you privately?" Blackfire left the room, and Starfire followed. Once alone, Blackfire's attitude changed. "Listen, Cor." "No, you listen. These are my friends, and Robin is special, I'll say." Starfire grabs Blackfire, slams her into the wall. "He is off limits." "Nothing's off limits to me, little sister. He is. If he's so special, Star, why is he barking up my skirt?" Starfire glares in steamed silence, and Blackfire whispers in her ear, "Innocent little Corey, maybe if you didn't hold your panties on with a bank vault, you wouldn't be so threatened by me." Tears well up in Starfire's eyes. Blackfire throws her into the wall across the hall. "Grow up, Corey. I'm better, and I always will be." Blackfire walked away, putting an extra swivel in her walk just to piss off Star. Starfire glares after her sister. With tears in her eyes, she turned and walked out of the tower. Inside, Robin sets up the weight bench. Suddenly the lights dim. Robin turns to see Blackfire in the doorway. Blackfire? She gets very close. Call me Coma. Robin smiles, says Dick. Seductively, Blackfire says, how about a different kind of workout? I'm listening. Blackfire runs her hand down Robin's chest and out of camera view. Judging by her and Robin's reactions, we are led to believe that she is grabbing him below the waist. Does the door lock? She whispered. Robin closes and locks the door. He turns around to see Blackfire nude. We see her bare back as she lets her dress drop. Come and get it. In town, Starfire walked along the boardwalk, crying silently as she looked up at the stars. Cut back to Robin and Blackfire, screwing passionately in the weight room. We cut to Starfire as she is attacked by an unknown attacker. Cut to Robin and Blackfire becoming rougher and more primal. Blackfire moaning and speaking Tamaranian. Cut to Starfire battling a dozen robotic alien police officers. Tamaranian, you are under arrest, the robo officer says. As Starfire struggles, she says, but I have done nothing. Cut to Blackfire and Robin. Their shadows on the wall show us they are in a new position. Blackfire continues to moan in Tamaranian. Cut to Starfire as she takes out 3 of the robots. She attempts to get her communicator, but it's knocked away. Leave me alone! She attacks ferociously. Cut to Blackfire and Robin, now on the weight bench itself. Cut to Starfire as she is struck by multiple energy blasts. Cut to Robin and Blackfire as they become more enthralled in their activity. Cut to Starfire having cuffs placed on her. Cut to Blackfire's face as she screams and roars like an animal. Her face a mixture of shock, pain, and pleasure. Cut to Starfire loaded into police ship. Cut to Blackfire and Robin collapsing on the floor. Robin rolls her over, her long black hair cleverly somehow hiding her nipples. Easy, Hunk Wonder. Even I can only take so much. Cut to the police ship flying away, and the robo-officer's voice saying, prisoner en route. End credits. So that was episode 4. You know, it's funny. I keep making a reference back to the live action Titans show that they did years after I wrote all of this. And the thing that's funny to me, now, again, I only watched a handful of episodes of that show, but the thing that it really struck me after reading this and thinking about it was that I apparently had a fair few ideas that were used in, the people in charge of that show also thought of and came up with. The ideas about not shying away necessarily from a little bit of sexual content or some swearing, or just overall taking and raising to a little bit more of a more adult level of entertainment for the show. And they definitely did that on that show. I think the reason why, so you would think that I would have liked it more, but I actually think the reason why I didn't like it is there were parts of the animated series that I really tried to keep, because I wanted to try and keep the charm, if you will, of that animated series, but try and age it up just a little bit. And again, I only watched a handful of the episodes, but I felt like they had just abandoned the charm of the source material altogether. But I think it's funny how, so some of, and I didn't realize it till I was reading it again, but some of these ideas I had actually got used by the people who, I'm not saying they stole the ideas. It's not what I'm saying at all. Aside from a handful of people, nobody's ever even read these. So it's not like, but I'm not trying to make that claim. I'm just saying that it's interesting that I'm not the only person to, to think about taking things in this direction. So maybe I should go and give the series an honest shot. I've heard it said before that, a show doesn't really find its footing until after its first season. And perhaps that's true. I was thinking about it quite a bit. As one of the podcasts I listened to, it's called The Rewatcher, and it's funny. It's a woman and her niece they're watching and then dissecting and talking about Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode by episode, and it's kind of fun because with my memory, once they start talking about it, I remember, because I've seen all the episodes. I watched them when I was younger, obviously, but in either case, there's. And they even talked about it on there, that a lot of times the show doesn't really truly find its footing until the second season. And, once I say that, and I think about it, I can think of several examples of that being absolutely true. So maybe I will turn around and actually give Titans an honest shot. But in either case, back to what I wrote and what I shared with you. Hopefully this wasn't too far beyond the pale for you. I promise you that episode 5 is not full of sexual situations. At least not that I remember. I don't think I did it 2 episodes in a row. I think that would be too much. That being said, you're gonna have to come on back to find out if they save Star or not, right? So until next time, I appreciate you guys checking this out. These are doing a lot better than I thought they would, so I'm appreciative. Until next time, I am Ken Carnage, and always remember that carnage is right around